Good evening and welcome to the Center for Rural Development. For any of you that I might not have seen on Sunday, my name is Lonnie Lawson and I'm the President and CEO here at the Center for Rural Development. Welcome to the graduation of the Rogers Scholars Program, and we have had a great week, haven't we, scholars? Parents, thank you for sharing your sons and daughters with us this week. We truly have had a great week, and this has been a really good group of scholars. Had a lot of fun, they've learned a lot of things, and they're going to show you some of the things that they have learned this week. Several folks that I need to thank, though, before we actually get into the program, and probably the one I need to thank the most, is Dr. Bill Lucky and Lindsey Wilson College. This is our, Delaney, fourth year that we've been on the campus of Lindsey Wilson, and the partnership has really made this program stronger. We're on a college campus that has facilities, has dorms, has eating facilities, so it's just made the program much, much easier. So if you guys don't mind, please give Dr. Lucky and Lindsey Wilson College a great round of applause. Scholars, thank you for a good week. It's really been a pleasure working with you this week and getting to know you a little bit better. You heard several times this week, and I heard this theme over and over. You heard it a couple of times again today. Find what it is that you're passionate about. Find what it is that you like to do. And if you start down a path and you realize it's the wrong path, change it, because life is too short to be miserable. And you've heard that several times this week. So if you don't hear anything else from this week, life is too short to be miserable. Find out what it is that absolutely lights you up and go after it with everything that you have. We've had some great speakers this week. I'm so thrilled that Congressman Rogers was able to be with you today and you got to interact with him, because he loves this program. And when he told you that this is the thing that he is most proud of in his career, he is dead serious, because he talks about this program all the time. So let's please have a round of applause for Congressman Rogers. Some of the other speakers you had, and you're going to talk about them, I'm sure, ambassadors, but Kentucky's Lieutenant Governor, Miss Janine Hampton, University of Pikeville President, very new on the job, came on board in January, Dr. Burton Webb. He's talked about leadership, and finding your passion again is what he talked about. And Kenny Davis, did you guys love Kenny Davis? He's an incredible, incredible speaker, and his message is so touching. It's I heard Delaney say to him, and I have to echo it, it gets me every time I hear it, and I've heard it twice a year for the last 15 years probably, but every time I hear his story, it's just an incredible story. Parents, he actually has a book out now that if you have not seen it, and you might want to get it, and then you can kind of see what the students get to hear. But it's called Better Than Gold. So Kenny Davis, he was the captain of the 1972 Olympic basketball team, and he's got an incredible story. It's about a whole lot more than basketball, I assure you, and it is a really good book. Scholars, you're part of an elite group now. You're part of the graduates of the Rogers Scholars Program, and with that graduation comes great responsibility. I know you elected 2 ambassadors to interact with Delaney and help make the program better. But in reality, every single one of you are now ambassadors for the Rogers Scholars Program. We expect you to represent the Rogers Scholars Program. We expect you to represent the Center for Rural Development. We expect you to represent Congressman Rogers, because we've invested in you, and we want the return to be that you get your education, and then you come back and you stay in this region and you make a difference in this region for a long time to come. Now, I would be very naive if I thought every single one of you were going to come back. But I can challenge you to do that. This is as good a place as there is on the face of the earth. It's prettier than a whole lot of places on earth, I will tell you. And I see folks that seem to be a little embarrassed when they say they're from Eastern Kentucky. I will tell you that I have never been one of those folks. I am so proud of where I live and work. I am passionate about what I do each and every day, and I love this program. and I want you to be as proud of this program as I am. So I want you to come back, and I want you to make a difference in southern and eastern Kentucky. I want you to create jobs here. I want you to raise your families here, because that's what we need going forward in eastern Kentucky. We've lost a lot of coal jobs, but it's not the end of the earth. Sure, we've been knocked down, but the true measure of a person, in my opinion, is what they do when they get knocked down. You can stay down, or you can get back up and you can keep fighting. I want you guys to keep fighting, because we are a great place to live and work, and we're going to make sure that we have jobs for you when you get out of your education, but we need you involved in that decision-making process. I also want to get you involved in the Soar Initiative. There's a lot of different programs going on with Soar. There's a groundswell of excitement with it. I will tell you that every day that we delay, or every time we have another coal mine that closes, it knocks us back down a notch, but we're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep rising back up there. But get involved in the SOAR Initiative, and if you need more information about doing that, Delaney is on one of those committees that are working. I'm on the broadband committee, and Delaney, you're on the entrepreneurship committee, youth engagement and entrepreneurship. So get in touch with Delaney about how you can get involved with that. A couple other folks I need to thank, actually 3 or 4 folks that I need to thank. Delaney Stevens. Delaney, stand up so the parents can see you. Delaney runs all of our youth programs, and he absolutely does a great job with these. Please give Delaney a round of applause. The RAs that we have that stay with your students 24 hours a day, we graduated, or actually we didn't graduate, we lost the 2 that we had for about 3 or 4 years before these 2, but we've got some good ones coming in to fill their shoes. Mr. Scotty Reams and Miss Madison Allen. Stand up and wave at the crowd, guys. And I want to recognize one other young man, and Brandon, I am so sorry, I do not remember your last name, but Brandon is on faculty or on staff at Lindsey Wilson College. Brandon, stand up and let them see you. So. And I promise you, Delaney will give him a better introduction, because I couldn't remember Brandon's last name. So at this time, without further ado, I'm going to ask Delaney to come up and guide us through the rest of the program, and you're going to learn what your sons and daughters have been doing this week. I am so proud of this program, and I am so proud of these graduates. Please welcome Delaney.
Thank you so much, Lonnie, for the kind words. Parents, I welcome you all to the center for the culmination of the first week of Rogers Scholars of 2016. And I think it's safe to say that this group had a really good experience. They've become really close. Most, if not all of them, have made new lifelong friends. Is that a good statement to make, scholars? Yeah. I thought so. And before I move on with tonight's program, I do want to echo some of Lonnie's thoughts and thank yous. He talked about Lindsey Wilson College's involvement. We have been at that location since 2013, and it's really enhanced the program. These students, they get a experience not only with Rogers Scholars, but they get a small taste of what college life is like. We get to interact with other groups on campus. We get to interact with staff and instructors and the majors that we have, and you're going to hear about those majors here in a little bit from the scholars, but the majors have really beefed up because of being on Lindsey Wilson's campus. They have some world-class facilities over there and instructors, and we could not do it without the support of Lindsey Wilson College. And individually, I want to thank some of the hands-on people that's been involved. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that goes on to put this program together. It doesn't just take me or people from the Center for Rural Development. It takes a lot of people from Lindsey Wilson College too. And so Lafon Nettles, Lafon was at the welcome on Sunday. She's the Director of Student Activities at Lindsey Wilson. And then Brandon McDowell, he's the Assistant Director of Student Activities, and Brandon's with us tonight. Emily Redmond, she's also a Lindsey Wilson College staff member, and she works close with Brandon, and she's been involved a lot this week. Chris Schmidt, he is the Dean of Students. and he is very, very passionate about what we do here. He has a son, Cole, who actually was a 2015 Rogers Scholar. He actually went through Rogers Explorers as well, but Dean Schmidt has become really close with us with this program. He spoke to scholars yesterday about a variety of topics, but he's very involved with Rogers Scholars. And then Dean Adams. Dean Adams is the Vice President for Student Services and Enrollment Management. And scholars, although you didn't get to meet Dean Adams and talk with him a whole lot this week, he's very involved. He is very supportive of this program, and they are certainly glad to have us on their campus. And then, of course, the dining staff and other faculty members who have been involved. We could not do this without them. I think, how was the food? Did you guys like the food? Yeah? Okay, well, I think it's pretty good. They might have other opinions. It's actually really good, but it's a lot of people that make this program work, and so we must thank them. And then, of course, Scotty and Madison, they're the ones that keep these programs going day to day. They're very, very hands-on with the students, and they make sure that we're keeping a good eye out for these scholars. And so please help me thank all of these individuals. So this year's class, this week 1 class, marks the 37th group to come through this program. And here in just a short while, we'll have 1,088 graduates of the Rogers Scholars Program since 1998. 1,088, so that's quite a number. To me, and to the Center for Rural Development, that's 1,088 individuals that can and are making a difference in Southern and Eastern Kentucky. And scholars, you are now, like Lonnie said, you are now part of an elite group. And whenever you leave here tonight and go back to your hometown, I challenge you to begin thinking, if you haven't done so already, how you can be an agent of change in your community. Not just in high school, not just in college, but long term. Lonnie talked about how much we need you, and it's very, very true. This begins with community service. You all learned a lot this week about community service. You talked about community service. To get into this program, you are already involved with community service. And so, scholars, I challenge you, whenever you go back, begin thinking about how you can begin getting involved and engaged, not just in your school, but in your community with local elected officials, with civic organizations, with other individuals, because that's how we can get you to want to come back long-term to Southern and Eastern Kentucky. You may want to go out and go out of state even to go to college, but long-term, it's okay to be a boomerang. You can go out, explore the world, but long-term, we really need you back here. And so I want you to be thinking about what you can do in your hometown. And parents, they need your support. They're going to be going home and be thinking about community service. They identified a community service project this week that they want to do whenever they go home. And with this program, with Rogers Scholars, we have 17 university partners, and each one of those offer some amazing scholarships. We have 8 or 9 that are full tuition, and we talked a little bit about that this week. But in order for them to actually be eligible for these scholarships, they have to implement a community service project within 1 year of graduating from Rogers Scholars. So they have up until June 1st of next year to organize and implement a service project in their home community. And they can't do it alone. They need your support. They need other people's support. And they've identified community organizations, school groups, and other individuals that they plan on contacting to help them with this service project. So they know what to do, and we are here throughout the year. We will contact you, scholars. We'll make sure that you're doing what you need to be doing. We're going to hold you accountable because that's our job and that's our passion, is to have you all engaged with us, with your communities, with your schools, and with each other. You also got to hear a little bit, while we're on the topic of community service, you got to hear about the Congressional Award. And parents, the Congressional Award is a national program, and it is a community service, health and wellness program that these scholars should take advantage of. It only costs $15 to join, and it's an amazing opportunity because you guys are already doing community service. You're already active in your schools and in your communities, and so this program can be really beneficial long-term to college applications to getting a job, and it's a great opportunity. And so I really encourage you all to look into that whenever you go home. And parents, I encourage you guys to get online and check that out too. It's the Congressional Award. So scholars, you had the chance this week to listen to some incredible speakers. They shared many wise words with you, and I just want to kind of encourage you all to take heart many of the ideas that were set forth this week. Learn to be a good listener. A lot of people talked about, what leadership entails, and part of that is learning to be a good listener. Challenge the status quo. If you, and Lonnie kind of talked about this a little bit, if you see something that isn't right, it's okay to try to change that. And I encourage you and I challenge you to challenge the status quo. It's okay to fail. It's okay to learn from your mistakes. And that's what makes you a good leader, is learning how to adapt and change. Don't settle for good. Go for great. There is no easy button, as Dean Schmidt told you. And Sue Stivers, this comes from her. You don't have to be from a big place to do big things. So don't be ashamed of where you're from. Don't be ashamed of Southern and Eastern Kentucky. Even though you might leave the region, I encourage you to come back and make changes in your hometown. You saw Kenny Davis this week. He talked about all of the accomplishments that he has been a part of, and he's from Wayne County. He's from Monticello, and now he lives in Garrett County. And look at all what he has done. And so the whole goal with Rogers Scholars is getting you all to make that long-term commitment. And I just want to make sure that you all understand your responsibilities, and we encourage you to try to find your passion for this region. Before I introduce the ambassadors, I want to leave you all with just a thought. And this is coming from me. I want you all to be the next great entrepreneurs and inventors. Life is a gift, and it offers us the privilege, opportunity, and responsibility to give something back by becoming more. So parents, this week, this group has, they've done a lot of activities. They've been involved with their majors. They've heard some amazing speakers. We've done community service. They've had leisure time. They've gotten to know one another. And every year we select 2 ambassadors from each week of the program to serve as a guiding force, a guiding principle for this class. They help me plan reunions that we do. They help with program curriculum to give us feedback, and they really serve as an instrument to keep everyone on track and on the same page moving forward. Even though you all are graduating from this program tonight, that doesn't mean you're done being a Rogers Scholar. You are a Rogers Scholar for life. And so this year, this class, we had many of them that were really interested and wanted to offer their services as an ambassador. Lonnie already mentioned that even though you might not be the official ambassador, you guys are all ambassadors of this program. And so the scholars voted last night on ambassadors, and I would like to welcome them up to the stage to talk about all of the activities they've done this week. And so please help me welcome this year's Rogers Scholars Ambassadors, Ms. Shauna Holbrook and Mr. Daniel Short.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Short, and I'm from Johnson County.
Good evening, I'm Shauna Hobart from Floyd County, and first off, we'd like to thank you parents for coming out, and now we want to share with you what we've done this week.
These are all just pictures from each day. We took a group picture most every day, and these are them from throughout the week. And now the first day was Sunday, June 26th, after the parents departed. The Rogers Scholars, our group, you could see it on our faces that people were nervous. We didn't know each other. Everyone was strangers. So they brought in Miss Kara from Asbury College to help us with our team building activities. So here you see a picture of us playing. There's many photos, and this is one of us playing games to help us learn each other's names and things about one another that will help us identify each other as people and friends. And there's quite a bit of pictures to look at, so just bear with me if you'd like to look at them. these team building activities. Here you see, this is a very interesting one. This is a pig, and I don't know if you know what this is for, but in the next two photos, I want you to pay very close attention to what these people are doing. They're lining up, and if you can see in the far left, there's a pig sitting on the ground. And then they're falling for the pig that's on the ground, because the point was to see if we could squeeze each other's hands without looking, and the only person who knew how to squeeze was the person up front, and when it got to the very end of the line, you had to grab the pig. And these activities, these exercises, they helped us to build a base of forge the beginning for new friendships, and friendships that would last for lifetimes.
On Monday, we went to the Challenge Center, so it was the first full day together, and we tested the foundation of these immature friendships. The day began with a low ropes course to spark a sense of trust among ourselves. Following lunch, we entered into the high ropes course with numerous obstacles at challenging heights that allowed you to trust yourself. This trust not only allowed us to leap off of outstanding heights, but also to leap into outstanding friendships. Once we had dinner, we all took part in sports and swimming.
Here's pictures from the Asbury Challenge course. Once again, it was ran by Miss Kara. She's in the top right corner there. And we were doing numerous exercises on the lawns, and I don't know if you parents have heard or not, but there were quite a bit of chigger bites and bug bites going around that day. And then here's some of the rope courses, and I don't know if you can tell how difficult they are in these pictures, but from personal first-hand experience, they are quite hard. And there's a lot of these photos. And then here's the high ropes course. I don't know if you can tell how high up Dylan is in this picture, but there are others that you might be able to see just how high we are. So if you had a fear of heights, this was indeed a challenge course. And that's a swing that when you finish the end of the course, you just jump off the platform and you're gone, and they have to catch you. So that's a big trust right there. And there's our group picture. The next day was Tuesday, and this was a bit of a split day, I guess. If there's one lesson you learned from Tuesday, it was that at times when you feel tired, when you feel like you're bored with life and what's going on, there's often a reward at the end. Because you see in these pictures, it's early in the morning, and we're having to do some more team building, and we're listening to a lot of speakers in our chairs, and I don't know about everybody else, but my butt was getting very numb and my head was getting very heavy. And here we all talking with the colleges after lunch, and we listened to, this is the day that Dr. Carter came to speak with us. Unfortunately, I do not have his picture with us. We didn't have time for that picture because we were running a little over schedule and we were getting very hungry. And then here is when we met the president of the college, Mr. Bill Lucky, and we had dinner at his house. If you notice all the fancy dresses and clothes that the men and women have on. And here's us all eating at the president's house. And if I have a piece of advice that I learned from that also is when you're trying to make a good impression at an etiquette dinner, don't pour A1 steak sauce on your salad. And here's the ballroom dancing. I heard from numerous scholars that this was one of the most popular things that we did throughout the week. This was a lot of fun. You didn't feel like it was going to be, but it turned out to be a very memorable experience. I don't know, I sped through that picture real quick. I'm sorry about that one.
Wednesday also began with two very interesting speakers, the Bonner Scholar Program, who let us know the importance of community service, and Lieutenant Governor Janine Hampton, who told her inspiring story that opened our eyes to follow our dreams. The second portion of the day was the introduction into our majors, energy solutions, healthcare, or engineering. We got the general idea of what the next day will be, what the next day will encompass. Wednesday night was full of eye-openings as we completed our community service projects with Joy Ministries, the Lightest program, and gardening to make our community a better place.
And here's some pictures with the Bonner program, trying to learn about other people's shoes and identifying main community problems in groups. And then here's when we spoke with the Lieutenant Governor. I believe if everything goes well with this PowerPoint that there should be a group picture with us standing with her at the end of this. And we're taking questions. And here's the community service at the garden. And this is, I believe, the Linus Project. They're making blankets and tie-dyeing T-shirts. And then this is the Joy Ministries, where they sorted the clothes. Let's see, I hope right now that it's going to let you see the Lieutenant Governor, but yeah, there it is. All of us are there standing with her. It was nice to meet somebody with that high up power. She had a wonderful story to tell about how she came from Detroit and the poverty that she was in and around, and how it inspired her to become what she is today. And then Thursday, this was the last full day that we scholars had together with one another. And I'll have to say, I was getting a little bit down on myself at this day. I was tired, but I really was disappointed when it would come to an end. And we started out the morning speaking with the UPIKE president. You can see in this picture, I believe I also have a group photo with him too at the end of this. And he had an interesting spin on the prodigal son story, or the parable, if you've heard of it. It's very interesting to see how he put that into perspective. You can ask your kids about that later, because I don't have enough time to go through it. Then we had a cookout, and outside, and we just talked, and we had a good time, played music and football and frisbee and karaoke. I almost forgot the most important part. It got darker, and we had a big karaoke sing-along on the lawn. That was a memorable moment. And there's a picture with all of us in the UPIKE president.
This morning, we all woke up sort of stressed, having to pack our stuff, half asleep, trying not to forget anything. But once we arrived at the center, we had a surprise guest from Congressman Rogers that helped us understand his reasoning behind the Rogers Scholar Project, Unite and Pride. He gifted us with great opportunities we will not let go to waste. Following Congressman Rogers, we listened to a phenomenal story from Kenny Davis, captain of the 1972 U.S. Olympic team. Kenny presented us with his heart-wrenching story about life and death in his competition. His story made us all realize the true value of life and why we should be proud to be an American.
These here are the pictures that we have taken this morning over here in this conference rooms. And this is Mr. Hal Rogers, and there's a couple pictures there of him. And then this is Kenny Davis. And I'll just have to say that he's probably one of the best speakers I've ever heard in my life. Brought me to tears twice, actually. I'm sure you'll hear about that later also. I had quite a bit of people talking with me about that right there. And then in closing, I'd like to say to each and every one of you here this evening, the parents, the people who've helped with Rogers Scholars, the Center for Rural Development, our teachers, our principals, there's so many people to thank that, I mean, the list goes on, and I could stand here all night and just talk about how wonderful the people are and how thankful we are for them. And in closing, I'd like to say that I heard many people this morning saying, well, we're going to be pretty glad to be back home. We're going to be excited to see our parents again, our friends, be back where we belong. But the one thing we'll miss is each other. And that's something that I think we all can agree upon, that we'll miss each other as people, and then we've grown stronger and bonded just enormously in the past few days that we've been together. And I don't know about the rest of them, but for myself, if I'm ever feeling down, if I'm ever feeling upset, mad, angry, or if I just am disappointed, I'll think of this moment, I'll think of this week, and I'll think of each and every one of them, and I'll end up feeling 10 times better than I ever have. And so with that in mind, I thank you all for coming and being a part of this program, and so much that you've done for us.
Yeah.
Great job, guys. I look forward to working with you all in the months to come, the years to come. You all have a lot of responsibilities now, being ambassadors and scholars. You know this, but parents are one of our RAs, Scotty. He's a 2012 ambassador, and he has continued to be extremely engaged with the center. He actually interned for Congressman Rogers last summer. We're fortunate to have him this summer as an RA, and he's also very involved in the Soar Initiative. And so we treasure our ambassadors. We treasure each and every scholar. And ambassadors, that was a great presentation. Thank you. So now for the majors, we have 3 different majors. We have a healthcare major, an engineering major, and then new this year is an energy solutions major. We used to have video production as that 3rd major, and we wanted to change that a little bit because we felt like career pathways is a major component to this program, and so we wanted to try to identify new opportunities, up-and-coming opportunities that can fit this region and this state. And another reason why we went with energy solutions is because Lindsey Wilson College, they have a world-class professor who is very involved not only on campus but across the state and the nation, is being an expert in sustainability, renewable energy, and it's amazing what he's doing. He is taking the food waste at the dining center on campus there, he's turning it into biodiesel. He's taking the waste product from that and turning it into soap, and then he's taking the waste product from that and turning it into fire starters. And so we approached him early last year and started talking about some of his ideas, and I know we'll have to tweak some of that a little bit, but I think overall it was a good fit, and so I look forward to seeing what we can do with that major. But before I introduce the majors to come up and talk about their experience, I have to thank all of the partners involved with these majors, because without them and their involvement, we will not have the majors that we do. And so UK College of Engineering, Dr. Bruce Walcott, he's been involved with this program since the beginning. This is his 19th year teaching the engineering major. Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital, the healthcare major came over to Somerset 2 different times for the healthcare major. Southern Kentucky Area Health Education Center, they're also very involved in the healthcare major. Lindsey Wilson College of Nursing, they covered the last portion of healthcare, and it was really cool this year because a 2007 graduate of Rogers Scholars, she's from Metcalfe County, her name's Kelly Mann, she actually covered that nursing component, and that's really great to see. That's a full circle of what we love seeing. We have a Rogers Scholar, they're a Lindsey Wilson graduate, and they're continuing to be engaged. She relocated back home after her college career, and she's teaching at Lindsey Wilson, and so it was great having her. And then, of course, Lindsey Wilson College Sustainability and Energy Applications Department, Mr. Doug Keaton, and he taught the Energy Solutions major this year. So please help me thank all of these outstanding partners. So the first group I want to welcome up to the stage to share their experience is engineering. Guys?
Hello, my name is Justice Goble and I'm from Martin County.
Hi, my name is Alexis Stanley and I'm from Pike County.
Hello, once again, my name is Daniel Short, and I'm from Johnson County.
My name is Brianna Epperson, and I'm from Harlan County.
My name is Cassidy Getz, and I'm from Lincoln County.
Hello, I'm Dylan Gentry, and I'm from Greene County.
Hi, I'm Maren Mobilini from Perry County.
I'm Trey Chestnut from Knox County.
My name's Seth Turner, and I'm from Morgan County.
Hi, I'm Savannah Perkins, and I'm from Wolfe County.
My name is Dylan Twisdale, and I'm from Garrett County.
Hi, my name is Starla Wilson, and I'm from Rowan County. Our career pathway is for engineering. Over the past few days, we have had the pleasure and honor of meeting Dr. Bruce Walcott and Mrs. Walcott. Dr. Walcott is an electrical and computer engineer. He is a professor at the University of Kentucky, and he has 17 patents pending. He gave us a glimpse of the engineering fields that are available. He and his wife are not here tonight, but we would like to give them a special thanks.
There's our names. Okay. So the first thing Dr. Walcott taught us was the different flavors of engineering, which are basically the different careers you can have in engineering. So our civil engineers build roads and buildings. Mining engineers make safe mines and equipment. Mechanical engineers are responsible for cars and robots. Biosystems and agriculture, they deal with farming equipment. Chemical engineers deal with petroleum and cosmetics. and other chemicals. Electrical and computer engineers deal with the electrical stuff and computers, and Dr. Walcott himself was an electric and computer engineer, and a materials engineer deals with everyday items.
So we did a lot of team building activities. We learned that engineers work together, so the activities helped us understand how to collaborate as a team. We did tennis ball relays, hula hoop relays, and we lined up in order by our birthday without talking. These activities helped us prepare for all the other activities we did throughout the week.
Dr. Walcott quizzed us on the flavors of engineering and let us play a game. In the game, we used clickers and were asked questions about the factors, jobs, and production of each type of engineering. Everyone participated in the game and he gave us prizes at the end.
Walcott gave us a 4-inch by 4-inch sheet of aluminum foil, and we were supposed to make a boat that could hold pennies without sinking. And he gave us the formula to find the ideal height we had to make the boat in order to hold the maximum amount of pennies.
We were given a 3D printing pen and asked to come up with a prototype. My group made something called GoFi, which is basically just Wi-Fi on the go, while other groups made flexiglasses and battery wallets. Then we tried to sell our prototype to Mrs. Walcott, who was kind enough to buy all of ours. The next day we used the 3D pen to make our own unique medals.
Connect towers using Connect pieces. Groups competed to build towers that were freestanding. After 1 minute, the group with the tallest structure was the winner. This exercise taught communication and team building.
To be a good engineer, it is crucial to be able to work forwards and backwards. For this activity, we disassembled robots that were put together by our instructors. Then, we worked in groups of 3 to put the robot back together. In the workforce, engineers must be able to do this to identify problems with products and equipment.
After we rebuilt the robots, we had to start programming them. So we plugged the Lego robots into a computer and went on the program. The program was called Lego NXT. Once we completed our program, we had to download the program and press play on the robot. This activity furthered my interest into robotics.
So, as they've said, Dr. Walcott was an electrical and computer engineer, and I'm sure as many of you are passionate about your jobs that you have, Dr. Walcott was very affirmative in making it sure that we knew that he was very passionate about electrical engineering. So he taught us numerous things about electrical engineering, such as the flow of AC and DC currents, and had us build things that had to do with electricity, such as an electromagnet made from just a normal battery and a copper wire, and also things like powering our own LEDs and light bulbs.
After that, we applied that information to build a hydropower wheel. After we assembled it, when he gave us tiny little pieces to make it, we took them outside to test them to see if it would light up an LED light. He helped us realize that when we put the water higher, when we put the water farther up in the air and dropped it on the wheel, it would make more electricity to make the light come up. And after teamwork and helping each other out, we made each group lights to light up.
All right, to sum it up, during the entire engineering course, the key point that Dr. Walcott stressed the most is that engineering requires teamwork. To be a successful engineer, you need to have good communication skills and be able to work well with people. Working with other people allows different perspectives and allows you to think outside the box, which can in turn lead to success. Thank you.
Good job, guys. The next major that is going to come up and present as the healthcare major, and I have to admit, so whenever we send out acceptance packets for Rogers Scholars, they get the opportunity to rank their majors, what they want to participate in, and healthcare, without a doubt, every single year is the most preferred. And unfortunately, not everybody gets the major that they want, but I think it's safe to say most everyone does enjoy what they go through. And with healthcare, they have the opportunity to come to Somerset. They get to work with some doctors at Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital, and Lake Cumberland Regional has been instrumental in this healthcare major because they're the ones that really focus on getting these students to think about all the different careers out there in the healthcare industry, and so we couldn't do it without their support. But Lindsey Wilson College of Nursing, they have a great nursing program over there as well, and it's really added to this major since we've been at Lindsey since 2013. And so healthcare majors, I invite you all to come on up and share your experience.
My name is Catherine Broswell. I go to school in Letcher County, but I represent Perry County today.
Hi, my name is Zane Crouch, and I'm representing Menifee County.
My name is Grace Morris, and I'm representing Clay County.
My name is Lakin Walker, and I'm from Perry County.
My name is Jill Adams, and I'm from Lawrence County.
My name's Nathaniel Cox, and I'm from Pulaski County.
Hi, my name is Malia Coffey, and I'm from Russell County.
My name is Drew Cox, and I'm from Morgan County.
My name is Riley Crawford, and I'm from Pulaski County.
Hello, my name is Aaliyah Archer. I'm from Jessamine County. First off, I would like to thank you all so much for coming and visiting us tonight. As you can see, we were a part of the healthcare major. The experience was definitely an enlightening experience. Also, we participated in many activities that gave us alternate perspectives on the healthcare major. All of us tried new things this week, while our eyes opened into how both leadership and service are incorporated into the healthcare major. If you will direct your attention to my fellow peers, they will try to better specify exactly what we did this week in hopes that you will better understand our inspiration. Thank you.
When we first arrived at Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital, we got to chat with Dr. Hoyer. And Dr. Hoyer is a cardiothoracic surgeon. And by chat, I really do mean chat. We were able to ask him questions about his day-to-day job and just talk. And from the conversation, I gathered two lessons. First, dermatology is the go-to field in medicine. Secondly, Dr. Hoyer cheats on his wife, with medicine, of course. He told us, your wife is your mistress and you marry medicine. After that, he showed us the technique of suturing. Dr. Hoyer then provided sponges for us to practice. So Mom and Dad, if you see me, don't be surprised if I start stitching up injured animals around the house.
My name is Drew Cox, and I'm doing medical technology. I was fortunate enough to get into the healthcare field because most people weren't. We were fortunate enough to find all the different technology in the hospital, like ultrasound and ECG. And an ECG stands for electrocardiogram. I still don't know what that is. An example of the ultrasound is actually on Katie here. She's standing right there. We took an ultrasound into her stomach, and we weren't looking for a baby. That's not what it was. We were looking for her liver, as you can see up there in that little picture. I actually got experimented on with the ECG, and what it is well, there's no picture up here, because I don't know why. They took a picture of my heart, and it was showing up on this little screen, and it was really cool. It was a really cool experience because, when you're laying in that, hospital bed and you feel this weird ooze all over your chest, and this guy sticking a weird shaped object on your chest, and you see your beating heart, in that picture, just like, beating, and it's really weird experience, and I'm really glad I, got to come to Rogers Scholar and do the healthcare program, and I'm thankful. So.
While visiting Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital here in Somerset, we were able to tour the radiology part of the hospital here, which included the CT and MRI scanning rooms, which we learned are both very dangerous and helpful at the same time. The magnetic part of both of these machineries are extremely dangerous to people with pacemakers and etc. Also, there are a very large difference between the times of a CT and an MRI. A CT normally takes 5 minutes, where an MRI can take over to 45 minutes. Also, while in the CT room, we were able to look at a CT of an anonymous patient with a gunshot wound. We also learned that MRI scanners are very powerful diagnostic machines that create 2 to 3 dimensional maps of the body while showing the physician exactly what type of tissues are where. MRIs evaluate brain tumors, soft masses, and bone tumors. We also learned what exactly CT scans do. They're imaging producers that use special X-ray equipment to create detailed pictures or scans. CT examples are traumatic injuries, blood clots, and skull fractures.
Prior to the Rogers Scholar program, I thought I knew what I wanted to do with my life. But when I got actually into the program, all of the lectures and classes, it made my past ambitions seem a little blurry. This happened especially when we went into the blood lab. When we got into the blood lab, there were machines everywhere. And I have to admit, it was pretty intimidating. But when the nurse came out and started to explain what all these machines do, everything started to become interesting. One specific thing that caught my eye was their blood bank. In the blood bank, the nurse explained to us the different types of blood and why platelets had to always be on a special shaking table. After the blood bank, we were fortunate enough to see a blood sample. The nurse showed us the difference between red and white blood cells under the microscope. Overall, we were able to see the job opportunities that are at the backbone of the hospital.
The Cath Lab is a place for the catheterization of the heart. This is a procedure used to diagnose and treat cardiovascular conditions. During cardiac catheterization, a long thin tube called a catheter is inserted in an artery or vein in your groin, neck, or arm and threaded through your blood vessels to your heart. In this lab, we saw stents, which are small mesh tubes that are used to treat narrow or weak arteries. And on the other hand, we saw balloons, which are devices used to stretch a blood vessel. We had the opportunity to touch and see different types of pacemakers that help treat disorders like AFib. The most interesting part was watching the angioplasties and seeing the dysfunctions of the veins and arteries.
Yesterday at our trip to the hospital, we got to visit the ER. We learned that 45,000 people visit their ER every year, and we also got to look at some of the equipment. And we actually got to use an oral scope on Katie because she recently had her wisdom teeth took out, so we looked at the incisions in her throat. The next thing that we got to look at was the operating room of the hospital. The first thing we had to do was put on scrubs because we couldn't wear our clothes in there because it would contaminate the operating room. So we put on all our scrubs, and then we learned how to scrub in. So we had to make sure all our fingers were clean all the way up to our elbows, and then we had to make sure that we kept our elbows held up high so they wouldn't get contaminated. And after that, we actually got to tour an OR room, and we learned about a lot of the surgical equipment and what jobs are in the surgery room, such as the anesthesiologist and the surgical tech and the surgeon, of course. And we got to actually watch a hip replacement surgery, which was really cool. And we got to watch a lung removal surgery also, so we were very fortunate to get this opportunity.
Yesterday, after our trip to the hospital, we came back to the Gooden Center at Lindsey Wilson. While there, we learned some of the most important duties done by nurses. We learned about transfers, patients, oxygenation levels, how to take blood pressure, which can be seen here and here. We also learned how to hear our heart, our lungs, and our stomach using a stethoscope. And we also saw some of the simulation dolls. But two of the most important things we saw while we were there were CPR and the Heimlich Maneuver. So I'm going to ask my two assistants to please step forward. And firstly, they're going to demonstrate how to do the Heimlich. So the first step in performing the Heimlich is you ask the choker, I guess, if they're choking. The next step is have someone call 911. Next, you find their belly button and roll up until the bottom of the ribs. And then push on your fist. But if they're still gasping and can talk a little, don't do the Heimlich because you could severely damage them. Only do it if they're not making any noise. Next, they're going to demonstrate CPR. Firstly, again, you call 911. Next, you check for a pulse. If no pulse is felt, interlock your fingers and place them on top of the sternum. And push to the beat of the classic song, Staying Alive, which is quite ironic. And next, we have our conclusion.
Okay, now that I've been resuscitated, on behalf of everyone here in the medical pathway, we would like to say thank you to the staff of Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital and Lindsey Wilson School of Nursing, who have provided us with these opportunities that we're sharing with you today. I think I can speak for all of us when we say many of us came in here thinking we knew what career we wanted to go into, whereas on the same token, we left with those visions being muddled, reinforced, or even dissolved. Frankly, for myself, mine were clarified as I now have more insight as to what a physician really does in the workplace. Overall, we now have a better idea of who we are, but also who we want to be. Now all that's left is how to get there. Thank you.
Last but certainly not least is our Energy Solutions major, and I've already talked about this a little bit, but Mr. Doug Keaton is an instructor at Lindsey Wilson College. He's head of the energy and sustainability efforts going on over there on campus. And I've gotten to know Mr. Keaton over the past several years. He's always been involved with our Rogers Explorers program and really gives a hands-on experience to our rising freshmen about what's going on campus and getting them excited and encouraged about STEM going into high school. And so we approached him with the Rogers Scholars program trying to identify a new major, and he stepped up to the challenge this year. And the best way I can describe him is passionate. He's so passionate about Lindsey Wilson College and making it a better place to live, work, go to school, and he's done a great job with some of the efforts going on over there. And the majors, the students, they're going to have the opportunity to share with you what they did. And so I'd go ahead and invite them to come on up. Thank you all.
Hi, my name is Hannah Stevens, and I'm from Whitley County.
Hi, I'm Lydia Nam from Boyd County. I'm Bronwyn Haynes from Harlan County.
Hi, I'm Allie Wade from Jackson County.
Hi, I'm Spencer Lett from Boyd County.
I'm Katie Bowling, and I'm from Breathitt County.
Hi, I'm Veda Miller from Perry County.
I'm Brooke Soar from Letcher County.
Once again, I'm Shauna Hobart from Floyd County.
I'm Kaylin Green from McGoffin County, and throughout the past 2 days of exploring our major in energy solutions, we learned the value of our hometown resource of coal, along with other sustainable energy resources. Professor Keaton introduced several of our world's renewable and non-renewable resources and how they can be implemented into our society as coal production rapidly decreases.
This week, Mr. Keaton taught us his philosophy, and he showed us some ways that it worked. It's I Have Never Failed, however, I have found 10,000 ways that it did not work by Thomas Edison. And most of the stuff that he let us do was found through his fails. So I guess that works.
On the first day, Professor Keaton taught us about renewable resources, including hydro, geothermal, solar, wind, and biomass. He also taught us about non-renewable resources, which are coal, uranium, natural gas, petroleum, and propane.
Now we're going to talk about percent efficiencies of these renewable and non-renewable resources. I want you to think to yourselves, which source on the screen has the greatest output of energy? Okay, y'all got it? You got it? Okay. I was surprised seeing hydro producing 92 and 95%, and petroleum with a low of 18%. Leading into that, Kentucky's coal industry is depleting. Some people say solar is the answer, but in actuality, Kentucky only receives 3 to 4 hours of usable sunlight every day. So the most reliable choice is hydro, because of the rivers and dams flowing into and out of Kentucky.
On the second day, we went outside and explored solar power. We learned that solar power is the cleanest and most efficient form of electricity. We participated in an example in which we used solar panels to generate electricity to power light bulbs and fans and other accessories.
Also on the second day, he had us design windmills just to show us how they worked. And in an attempt to make the most efficient design, we each tried our own unique methods.
Okay, so I'll be the first to say that Professor Keaton had a lot of interesting ways of teaching our lessons. And the most interesting to me was this one, in which he pulled out a bucket full of water and gave us all a straw. And he said, okay, everybody take a drink. Well, we all stuck our head in, started drinking. It was just not working. It was too crowded, like we could not do it. So he related that back to the crowding of oil fracking in our nation, because it's like a bathtub and there's not a lot of oil and there's a lot of people that want it. So this is how he taught us that lesson.
Professor Keaton and his students have planted a garden at the Lindsey Wilson campus. They plant fresh fruit and vegetables such as tomatoes, green beans, which we got to try, onions and strawberries that they provide for the cafeteria. The leftover food is then given back to Mr. Keaton to help with the composting.
We also learned about the differences between a problem and solution and thinking critical and critical thinking. A problem is just a problem. A difficulty, what's wrong? An issue is the point of decision making. For example, when you walk in a room, do you want to flip the light switch on, or do you want to open up the blinds and let the sunlight in? The difference between thinking critical and critical thinking is that thinking critical is thinking with judgment. Critical thinking is thinking outside the box or differently, and that's what we need to help change the world and make it more energy efficient.
So during these past 2 days in Energy Solutions, we've explored many ways that energy is used in our world, as well as bettering the environments that we live in. So our challenge to you as parents, guardians, grandparents, is just look in your communities at different ways that you can help make your community more eco-friendly, just as we will. And it will take leaders to step up and do this, but we all need to strive to make our world the cleanest place for everybody to live in daily.
We haven't posted a whole lot of the photos from the majors, but we'll be posting those over the weekend, as well as all of the other activities that's been going on throughout the week. Parents, I'm sure you've been on social media checking out everything that these scholars have been doing, and we'll continue to post updates from this week and moving forward. I really encourage you all to like our social media networks, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the like, because we're always putting new things out there, not just program updates, but fundraising updates and alumni reunions and all kinds of things. So I encourage you all to get on youth programs at the center on Facebook, and we'll be posting all that information very, very soon. Now I'd like to invite Scotty Reams to come up. He's going to share a little bit of information about the Doug Reese Memorial Award, and Lonnie's going to assist with that. Doug Reese was a former board member of the Center for Rural Development. He was actually a chairman of the center and passed away suddenly, and so this Memorial Award has been set up in his honor. And Scotty's going to read a short biography and tell a little bit about that award. Scotty?
Good evening. Douglas Reese was well known throughout southern and eastern Kentucky as a prominent attorney, civic leader, and raconteur. Doug was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, the son of Albert and Opal Montgomery Reese in 1943. Doug's family moved to Jackson County, Kentucky when he was a child. Doug passed away suddenly on January the 4th, 2006. He is survived by one daughter, Amy, and one son, Adrian, as well as one brother, Gary Reese. Doug earned his bachelor's degree at Eastern Kentucky University in 1964 after graduating from Tyner High School in his native Jackson County. He earned his law degree from the University of Louisville School of Law in 1971, where he was a member of the Phi Alpha Delta legal fraternity. He was an incredible politician. Just after his admission to the bar in 1971 and through 1986, Reese was in private practice in Clay and Laurel counties and served as city attorney for Manchester for 5 years during that period. In the 1980s, Doug moved from Manchester to London, Kentucky. His law practice in the 1980s was one of the largest coal law firms in eastern Kentucky. From 1986 until 1993, he was the senior managing partner of Reese, Lang & Breeding, a corporate business and banking practice aimed primarily at the coal and energy businesses. They had offices in London, Corbin, Versailles, Manchester, Nicholasville, Danville, and Lexington, Kentucky. From 1993 until 1997, he served as counsel to Reese, Lang & Breeding, with offices in London and Lexington, as well as Atlanta. The next year, he served as counsel to Napier & Associates, and from 1998 to 2006, he was again in solo practice in London, Kentucky. He was admitted to the U.S. Bar of the U.S. District Courts for Eastern and Western Districts of Kentucky, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit, and the U.S. Supreme Court. He served on the Board of Directors of the Center for Rural Development from 1995 through 2005, and was board chairman from July 1994 until his death. He was named to the Executive Board of the Kentucky Native Arts and Crafts Center at General Butler State Park in 2003. Reese was also a board member of the Sanders Brown Center for Aging at the University of Kentucky from 1992 to 1998. He was appointed by the governor to the Kentucky Appalachian Task Force, the Regional Crime Commission from 1972 to 1974, and the Kentucky Appalachian Commission from 1996 to 2004. He had also served as a board member of the Kentucky Opry, the Mountain Arts Center, the Board of Overseers of the University of Louisville, and a member of the Board of Trustees at U of L. The East Kentucky Corporation, and in 1990, he was named vice president of that entity, and in 1991, its chairman. He was a member of the fundraising committee of the Cooperative Community Care, a former member of the National Resource and Environmental Law section of the American Bar Association. He had also been a director of London Bacon Trust, First State Bank of Manchester, and Director of National City Bank Southeast, covering London, Manchester, Harlan, Middlesbrough, Corbin, and Barberville. Reese was a Mason and a member of the Lafayette Club, National Trust for Historic Preservation, Kentucky Historical Society, Kiwanis Club, London Laurel Chamber of Commerce, Sons of the Mexican War Veterans, and Kenton Kin. The Doug Reese Memorial Award is made possible by the contributions of Dr. Joseph Fink III and Dr. Bruce Ayers. We would like to thank both of them for their continued support of this award. The award recipient will receive a $250 scholarship to the Kentucky College of their choice, as well as a mountain dulcimer. I'm proud to announce that the winner will be the applicant with the highest scoring application among this group. We pick a recipient from each week of the Rogers Scholar class. The 2016 Rogers Scholar Week 1 Doug Reese Memorial Scholarship winner goes to Katie Broswell.
Parents, I know you all have a long drive home. Before we leave, we are going to present these scholars with certificates of completion. I'd like to invite Scotty and Madison up to assist us with that. And while they're doing that, I want to let you all know that all of the luggage that these scholars packed is in Ballroom C, and so as soon as we get done with presentation of certificates, we'll help you all with getting all that luggage out of there. And parents also want to give a brief shout out about some of the programs that we have going on here with our youth programs. All of our youth programs are provided to participants free of charge. Rogers Scholars especially is an expensive program to put on, and the value cannot be matched in terms of what these scholars get. They're getting college scholarships and they get to attend this program for free. So we really encourage you all and ask for your all support. Scotty was out there trying to sell some houseboat tickets. I'm not sure how successful he was. I'm sure he hustled you a little bit, but we really encourage you all and ask for your support. The houseboat vacation currently is going on. The drawing's July 15th, and you get a free houseboat vacation on Lake Cumberland, provided by Conley Bottom, and it goes to a great cause. All of the proceeds go to Rogers Scholars, and so we ask that you all consider that. And at this time, we're going to present certificates.
Jill Adams. Aaliyah Archer. Katie Bowling. Katie Braswell. Trey Chestnut. Malia Coffee. Andrew Cox. Nathaniel Cox. Raleigh Crawford. Zane Crouch. Brianna Epperson. Dylan Gentry. Justice Goebel. Cassidy Getz. Kaylin Green. Bronwyn Haynes. Shauna Holbrook. Spencer Lett. Veda Miller. Marin Mobilini. Grace Morris. Lydia Onan. Savannah Perkins. Brooke Saar. Daniel Short. Alexis Stanley. Hannah Stevens. Seth Turner. Dylan Twisdale. Allie Wade. Laken Walker. And Starla Wilson.
How about a big round of applause for this class? So before we let you get on the road, there are a few folks that we do need to thank real quickly again. I'll go through the list as quickly as I can, but I would like you to give all of these folks a round of applause at the end. Certainly Congressman Rogers for his vision and his support of this program for 19 years now. This is the 19th year of this program. The Center for Rural Development Board of Directors, University of Kentucky College of Engineering, Lindsey Wilson College, Dr. Bill Lucky, and all of the faculty and staff, South Kentucky Rural Electric Cooperative, which has raised nearly $200,000 to support this program over the last 12 years, Mr. Milton Huffaker, Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital, Conley Bottom Resorts, and then I want to specifically thank several of the center staff: Shannon Carter, Jonathan Foster, Sharon Dodson, Laura Glover, Allison Cross, Gretchen Wheeler, Mr. Ron Hart, our COO, Amy Ellis, and most of all, Mr. Delaney Stevens. Would you thank those folks, please? Ladies and gentlemen, the 2016 class of Rogers Scholars, Week 1, Godspeed.